Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Welcome to the Dynamic Hour, and specifically this segment where I will speak for a moment, talking to you about a number of things. But let us start off the program with some positive news first and foremost. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. I love to start off the program with positive news, boy. You remember many a years the NNP spoke about the need for agro-processing facilities in the country, and they never delivered on anything where that is concerned. I remember they made mention of that facility in Monlong, if not Monlong, but somewhere up that side. Monlong, Brudge Grove, somewhere within that vicinity, where there was already infrastructure there for such a thing. And there was this big pie in the sky promise of having something set up so that people can actually go and produce and make stuff add value to local produce and local stuff here. That did not materialize, but the NDC is investing in a new agro-processing plant, which is a great thing for those who are in the industry.
Phase 1 of work on Grenada's agro-processing plant has commenced at Lakalome in St. David. The state-of-the-art facility, which is situated on 2 acres of government land, will be outfitted with state-of-the-art equipment that will support local agro-processors. Work commenced in January by Selective Engineering Company Limited, with an estimated completion time in the next 4 months.
I'm Camira Phillip. I am representing Selective Engineering Company Limited. We have been engaged on this project to complete the earthworks, the retaining walls, and concrete pavings. Currently, we have 5 individuals on the site, but we also have some others working, fabricating steel and preparing formwork off-site. So we'll estimate at this point in time 8 to 10 persons. We're always excited about being engaged when it comes to nation building, positive projects that affect communities, Grenadians and Grenada as a whole. So we look at this as something positive, and we are very excited to be involved.
The plot, which previously served as the site for a pharmaceutical business, has been vacant for over 10 years, and Chief Analytical Chemist Erwin Henry says the aim is to complete the first phase by August this year.
Currently we are doing the civil work. This is the work on the outside with retaining wall, drainage, parking and so forth. So once this is completed, then we'll go and do the internal work. The internal work involves retrofitting the building, tiling, putting in water, putting in equipment and so forth. So this is what the project will entail. So not only looking at the outside of the building, but also the inside of the building to ensure that when persons come into the building, it is adequate for the use, and we can provide the services that are needed by the different stakeholders. So one of the constraints currently with agro-processors is that they don't have up to state-of-the-art facilities for producing. And most of them are engaged, some of them using their kitchens and probably small spaces in the house. And this is not the ideal situation. So the intended purpose is to have this shed facility where persons can come in and do their production. It will be properly equipped with state-of-the-art technology, and persons can come and use it, obviously for a small fee. And once they utilize the facility, they do their production, they package their stuff, they go home, someone else can come in and so forth. So it will be shared and it will be rotational.
An estimated 1.4 million has been allocated to complete civil works and retrofitting of the facility at Lacalome. Upon completion, it will offer agro-processors the tools and infrastructure needed to process a variety of local agricultural products, contributing to the diversification and sustainability of the local economy, along with improved livelihoods. This project aligns with the government's commitment to support local farmers and entrepreneurs, enhance food security, and improve lives and livelihoods across Grenada. For MTV News, Troy.
Yes, that's a very nice piece there by MTV, Troy Gill. You know, the NNP will still be out there saying to the farmers, saying to people that the NDC is not doing X and not doing Y for them. So don't matter how many things the NDC fix or implement or introduce, the NNP will still be out there saying that nothing is happening. And I tell you this, you need to go on the ground and speak to ordinary people. And they will tell you that they are very pleased. They are very happy with the performance of this government. The amount of things that this government is doing, they have not seen that happen in many, many, many years. Total transformation is taking place. We have always said there is a need for agro-processing plants to be set up. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be massive. Agro-processing plants where farmers can add some more value to their produce, where they can, preserve it and package it and export it and sell it for more than just selling it in its raw stage. I grew up knowing, for example, in Grand Roy, up in the Mont Plaisir area, there was an agro-processing plant there where a group of women, they were doing peppers, bottling peppers and seasoning. And that created a livelihood for 20, 15 women. They were able to take care of their families and send their children to school, right? Some of them retired. But I'm saying that to say to you, through the intervention of Carriacou and the late Sister Judy Williams, they were able to set up that thing and they had that thing going there. But over the years, without support and help, that just fell apart. I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago. But it was very important. Farmers were able to produce and know that there is a market for it. That's important. They were able to produce certain variety of pepper, right, or peppers, varieties of different type of peppers, hot pepper, seasoning pepper, that kind of thing. And they had a ready market right there in the community for it. So this is good. This is really good. Having an agro-processing plant, and we need to see more of that. But I am saying to you, the NNP will still be out there telling you that the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. I gave you a typical example. In Carriacou, some ministers, officials, ministers plus officials from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They visited Carriacou to see the good works that are taking place in Carriacou in terms of housing and so on, so that they can take that, the best practices, and learn about it and go back in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to implement it in some of those islands that were affected by Hurricane Beryl. But NNP went to Carriacou and PT Martinique, and they came back to Grenada, and all they had was bad news, sad stories, saying all kind of bad things about the government and about the Honorable Tevin Andrews. Only bad stories. They came back because they grafted that way. They shape, they make them that way to be negative, to be looking for negativity and to come back and spread misinformation and disinformation and lies. Right? But here you have visiting dignitaries from neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They visited PT Martinique and Carriacou because they want to learn. They want to emulate what the Honorable Tevin Andrews is doing in Carriacou and PT Martinique. And that's a plus. So while the NNP is on a negative train, you have people coming in to learn about the positivity, the positive things that are taking place in Carriacou and PT Martinique. Let's play this little piece from our beloved Prime Minister and the Ministry of Infrastructure, assessing the situation in Carriacou and PT Martinique.
My name is Jonathan Andrew, civil engineer attached to the Ministry of Infrastructure. Since the passage of Hurricane Beryl, we've been in the sister isle of Carriacou and PT Martinique, helping with the recovery efforts. The hurricane has given us a unique opportunity to assess our structures, namely schools and health centers, and redesign according to codes and standards, ensuring that the structures can withstand basic wind speeds and hurricanes that affect our region.
My name is Kiana Lambert. I'm a civil engineer attached to Ministry of Infrastructure. We visited Carriacou and Petit Martinique, more specifically the health centers. There's some work ongoing in a few of the health centers because of the damages from Hurricane Beryl. We are going to start Mount Pleasant and Petit Martinique so we can get it back up and running.
And that we start treating those things quickly and time for us to work on the roof while that is done to the operational.
So most of the schools on the island have already been recovered. Bishops, Leicester, Harvey Vale. Currently there's work ongoing in Mount Pleasant, and we're expecting that project should be finished within the next few months. That project should be at a stage of practical completion. We're currently in PT Martinique, and the primary school has been recovered, and work is ongoing on the pre-primary school. That is expected to be completed within the coming months as well. We're here basically supervising our projects and ensuring that they conform to standards and they can withstand future climatic events.
Yeah, you know, I say to people, have you seen that kind of spirit, that kind of activity, that kind of involvement, that kind of work being done in Grenada, and seeing our beloved Prime Minister there front and center, making sure that things do happen? Have you seen that before? I mean, NNP was in power for all these years. Have you seen a similar situation with Keith Mitchell, for example? Was Keith Mitchell involved like this in projects and programs and initiatives? And I've never seen that. I mean, look, and I have experienced NNP and NDC. And I have been in this place called home for a couple decades well. All right? I've been here for a couple decades well. And I'm saying to you, I have never seen that kind of involvement on the part of the government and the prime minister and the ministers of government. It's just different. And maybe you could tell me if I am wrong. Look at how our prime minister is involved in nation building, involved in the transformation of the country. He's not leading from the back. Hey, Julie says, I am in my beautiful island of Petit Martinique at this moment. The people of Union Island is talking highly about the work that is going on in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Yes, so Julie is in Petit Martinique and she's saying the people of Union Island, they're talking highly about what is happening in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So I am saying, folks, it is clear that something new has taken place and something unique and special is taking place in our nation. We have not, for all the 20-something years of NNP being in power, we have not seen that kind of involvement with our prime minister and with ministers of government. Our ministers of government, they're accessible. They're accessible. You may not see them in your community every time, but they're in the constituency. And more PR work will show them up more. Just give them some time. A lot is happening throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This is unique. This is different. This is special. And we need to call it out. We need to call it out.
In my capacity as the minister responsible for disaster management, it is an honor and deeply gratifying to receive on behalf of the government and people of Grenada this generous donation from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and in particular the King Salman Center for Humanitarian Aid and Disaster Relief. The containers contain a number of items, including things like forklifts, which will play a significant role in helping us not only to prepare for disasters, but with the immediate relief efforts that are still ongoing in Carriacou and with our recovery efforts. This demonstrates why it's important to build bilateral relations with countries near and far. In this case, our bilateral relations with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has grown significantly over the last 2.5 years from our dealings with the Saudi Fund for Development, now the King Salman Center for Humanitarian Aid, as well as other aspects. That is part of the reason why we sometimes have to go shows to travel and make friends and make partnerships with persons who will come to our assistance and will partner with us both in terms of when we are in need, but also in terms of development. So again, we absolutely grateful to His Excellency the Ambassador for visiting us today and presenting.
Yes, and that's PR. That's PR. Right? Because you see, some people believe you need to do some interview on some radio station or some TV in some studio for the purpose of TV news. I am saying the government is doing well, and we can see that. And we need to talk about it. Because I tell you this, the NNP during their time left the majority of buildings to run down. There was nothing when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to taking care of the thing. So a little painting work to be done on the building, the maintenance crew could do that. A little plumbing work to be done, they could do that. A little electrical work to be done, they could do that. Drains to be unblocked, they could do that. Landscaping to be done, they could do that. Windows, something happened to a window or a door, they could change it, they could fix it. You don't leave it like run down and becomes worse. And that is what the government is doing, Remember, they put in place maintenance crew for schools and government facilities. Don't wait in for it to run down. So the investment they're making now will be more long-term. It would last. That is what government's supposed to do. You under the NNP, the stadium came and they just left that there to run down, and then they go back to the Chinese and they ask them to come and repair it again, and no understudy, no nothing. That's how they function for all the years. But NDC is doing it differently, and we have to commend them for that. And when you sit and you think, but there are still some people in this country who want to go back to the era of NNP, Keith Mitchell and all his melee and bacchanal and all this stupidness. Look at the style of leadership that we have. Look at the professionalism that we are seeing. Look at the results that we are getting from this administration. The amount of projects and programs and initiatives and so on. And look, I want us to take out from our mind this concrete philosophy that if you don't build some concrete road, if you don't build a piece of concrete drain, if you don't build some building with concrete, you're not doing anything. Or they don't consider it as any major project or program or anything. You're not delivering, you're not. Take out this mindset. That's an NNP mindset. The NNP has always come in the public domain and say, well, you see, we do this, we do that, we do this. And when you look at it, they're just concrete stuff, concrete projects and so on. Right? But things that are meaningful, impactful, they're not concrete. So when you train 100 Grenadians in digital workforce, technology and so on, being able to use ICT to get a livelihood and to serve people, to protect people, to analyze data, and so on, cybersecurity and other things like that. This is meaningful. 100 families will be impacted by that. Because after the training, straight into work. That's a need. They need hundreds and hundreds of people to be trained in that area. When you set up an agro-processing plant and farmers can go there and package their stuff and add value to it, they create employment, they create opportunities. That's impactful. When 100 young people are part of youth in agriculture, receiving the training, receiving the soft grant and support to start their own business, that's impactful. When 100 women get training in agriculture and given a start, that's a big thing. When Grenadians who do the little backyard gardening get chicks where they can rear them and sell them and continue a little business, that's important. They get seedlings, they get fertilizer, they get feed, they get all the kind of support that they need. That's a big thing. When government invests in livestock, bringing in new breeds and crossbreeding them and producing quality meat, that's significant. That's big. After Hurricane Barry, look at the amount of farmers who get support, cash support to continue farming. And then you still have the farm labor program and other programs helping these farmers. You have fishers who got fishing boats and engines and the assistance that they need. This is big. You have medical stations that are being refurbished, new schools being built, old schools being reconditioned. A lot is happening. Police stations and police headquarters and being refurbished and being, reconditioned. These things are big. You have new recruits, police, prison. Things are happening for our people. You're not seeing workers out in the street demonstrating, protesting, fighting for what is rightfully theirs. No. This government has created peace and stability in Grenada. This is big, peace and stability. Look at the amount of guns, illegal firearms being taken off the streets. And kudos to the Royal Grenada Police Force. You're doing a fantastic job. They don't give you enough credit, you know. They don't give the Royal Grenada Police Force enough credit. They are doing a magnificent job, a fantastic job. And they're operating under an environment of peace. Right? You know, it used to be always tense with the police, the hierarchy versus those at the bottom, the corporals and the sergeants and the inspectors and so on. It used to be very tense. And the PCs and WPCs. But it's different now. Very, very different. They're able to do their work and carry out their duty with professionalism and competence. Look at the amount of illegal firearms and ammunition and so on they took from the streets and arrest this one and arrest that one with intelligence and good policing. The police is now in the community more. Community policing is a big thing now, you know. They make it a priority for 2025 to go in the community and engage the community. Because you see, if you're a police and you're good with the community, any little thing that happens in the community, you would know first. You will know. So that's a very good thing. And I want to commend, I want to applaud the police. You all are doing a fantastic job. And keep it up. Keep it up. And if you have one or two among you who are not doing what they're supposed to do, please help them, encourage them, and let them see the light. You all are doing a good job. And take a bow. Take a bow. So this concrete mentality, we got to help our people to get rid of that. Because governance is not just about concrete. Because the NNP, they build concrete structures and they just left them to run down. So the NDC has to come now and spend millions and millions and millions. In some of those government buildings, they cannot even house employees. They cannot work there. They cannot be there, full of mold and all kind of stuff, leaking and all kind of stuff, leakages and so on. Plenty issues. ACs, remember when NDC came into power, they had to redo the whole ministerial complex. The AC was not working. The rugs that they had in the ministerial complex causing workers to be sick. You don't hear the unions talk about that. The kind of money that the government spent to transform the ministerial complex. They had to paint it over. They had to modernize it. They had to a lot of work. But you know, over time, they forget all of these things and they move to something else. But things are happening for our people. The government is not printing money. They have to find it some way, somehow. All right? The CBI program is doing well. And thank God for that. We're getting much needed revenue from that program. And then with the revamped tax system and so on, we're seeing more tax compliance. People are paying up. And they're generating a lot of revenues from that. The port. Right? So things are happening. So you have the port in number one, meaning the amount of revenues they have collected, they top it. Then you have the Inland Revenue Department. They came in second. And then you have the CBI program. It's not to be corrected, but I think it's the CBI program that falls in next in terms of revenue generation. But what we want to see is more export. All right? Producing stuff and exporting stuff and getting foreign exchange and revenue from that. But things are happening for our people. More money is being spent in agriculture. So you have a wide range of stuff that you can get. Right? When you go to the market, you see a lot of stuff now. You go to certain communities and they have things on sale. So things are happening. Things are happening for our people, and we are proud of that. We are happy about that. But take out the concrete mentality. Because yes, the government, they're fixing a lot of roads, they're fixing a lot of drains, they're fixing a lot of schools, they're building new schools, they're fixing a lot of medical stations, right? And hospitals and so on, police stations and so on. So that's concrete, right? They fix the Molyneux Road, the project on Fort George, to continue with that. and a number of other things. So they're doing things. We know a lot of things are being done. But still, let's look at the other things that are being done that are not concrete projects. All right? The pension for public officers. That's a big thing. That's big. Because you're talking about unestablished workers, 4,000 plus. They would be able to go home with a pension when they retire from their employer, the government of Grenada. Remember, the NNP, when the unions took the government to court for the pension and gratuity, the NNP administration had some big-time lawyers to go to the court and say, no, we should not pay these workers. Instead, the NIS should just continue to give them their pension, what they contribute into the NIS. Pittance. That was their position. Their position was very simple. They didn't want to pay pension and gratuity from government, meaning the consolidated fund, from government money, right, every month. They didn't want that. That's their position. The NDC came in and they pay everything, right? So these things are big. These things are huge. I want to say to you, come independence, we will see a big name in the world of business coming to Grenada. That's Dangote. All right, I think it's Aliko. I think it's Aliko Dangote. I think that's his name. But he is a billionaire, one of the richest men in Africa. Right? So he will be coming to Grenada as a guest, and there are a number of events and activities planned around him. So we look forward to that. The NNP, they already start shaking in their boots because they realize that our Prime Minister is associating himself with good people, with people who can bring benefits to this country. Yesterday, me and a couple of friends, we were talking, and we were saying under the NNP administration, every Monday morning, we're hearing about some crook, some con man, some fraudster under the NNP administration coming to Grenada and con Grenada and defraud Grenada and take our money and run away with it. Under the NDC administration, you're not hearing that. You're not seeing that happening. It's just totally different. Different. But the NNP, they're running scared. They already start attacking the goodly gentleman. Then you see the NNP administration, they never wanted good for Grenada. And the NNP now, the pundit surrogates and goons, they don't want good for Grenada. No, they don't. So we are seeing good people coming forward. The last time we had the president of Ghana. Now we have, as guest of honor, I think he's the president of that group, the Dangote group, and they do cement, one of the major suppliers of cement in Africa and the world. They do cement, they do oil refinery, they do so many things, so many areas. So that's a good thing. It's a really good thing for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And we must be happy about that. As Grenadians, Grenadian name not calling in all kind of jump up. Big things are happening for our people. And we are thankful. And as I said yesterday, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the young professionals, they came in and saved us, from NNP and Keith Mitchell and them. If Deacon Mitchell, Orlando Romaine, the Andrea St. Bernard, and the others did not step forward to enter the political fray, right? And the Andy Williams and the others did not step forward. Because remember, They were new to the politics. They were never involved in politics. They were in the business world doing their stuff. They didn't have to. They did so because they loved Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And they were doing well in their private business and in the business world. They were successful. They didn't have to. They came and they saved us from Keith Mitchell and the NNP. Some people underestimate what happened in the last election and how much work these guys did to bring us to this place. Yeah, because remember, NDC had the old guards and they were already rejected by the electorate 2013, 2018, back to back, 15. Lest you forget that. And they came forward and saved this nation from Keith Mitchell and the NNP. Because if they didn't come forward, NNP would have still been in power. Keith Mitchell and them would have still been in power. So we have to cherish them and appreciate them. Yes, NNP going to attack them. NNP going to say all kind of nasty things about them because NNP is afraid of them. Because remember, NNP thought they were going to win the election, They thought they were going to get all 15 again, or even if they lost 4 or 5 seats, they would have still been in government. That's what they thought. It took these young people to come forward and beat Keith Mitchell and the NNP. And they were new to politics. They were never involved in politics. So we have to appreciate them. We have to thank them for stepping up, for getting involved. Because some people afraid to get involved in politics. Politics could be nasty and dirty. You know the amount of things people say about me? For the last 10 years, May the 15th will make me 11 years doing this. So the amount of things they say about me, they attack me, they attack my family, they attack everybody around me. But I'm still standing. If you don't have guts, you don't have gall, you don't have balls, you can't make it in this thing. No. Some of these people, they don't know nothing about you. They don't even know you. But they attack you still anyways. But for me, I am able to go down in the mud and hook the pigs politically in their nose and drag them to where I want them. Because I am not afraid of them and I have a platform that I can defend myself and, and do what I got to do. Because I am unafraid. And I'm tough. I am a tough guy. Some people even know me very well. I won't back down for these people. Because I could pelt to punches politically anytime. I could take these people on. I am saying we need to be grateful and thankful to these young men and women who give up everything to come and get involved in this. They save the day. They save us. And when young people get something, it ain't easy for those who had it to get it back. You're mad at what? When you get power, you think it's easy to lose it? No. To give up that something that's wrong with you? In small islands, when you get power, you control everything. Everything. So it's not easy for those who lost it to come and get it back. So you're mad. You control every single thing. And while on that, I want to say that we are at 91,000 plus votes are registered voters in this country. As of the end of the year, we have 91,000 plus registered voters. So, they always tell us the population of Grenada is 100,000. Some people say 120,000. right? So we have almost the population of Grenada registered. Because why? You have people who registered and they're overseas. All right? They went to greener pastures. So you have a lot of Grenadians who are registered and overseas. In 2024, we had 1,663 or 64 people registering. So they became registered voters. Out of that, the greater portion, we were able to get these people to register. All right? Greater portion. In excess of 14 to 1,500 people. So a lot is happening for us. People want to register. People want to participate. People want to make sure that the NDC remains in power to deliver, to transform Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So things are happening. The NNP is uneasy. They're uncomfortable. But where is Dwight Horsford by? Remember Dwight Horsford talking about registration, and they go this, and they go that. Just hot air. Hot air. They blow hot air, and then you don't see them, you don't hear them. Because why? New leadership in NNP. He's not even motivated to do anything anymore. You see the point? But we continue to do what we're supposed to do. Only yesterday I was having a conversation with a gentleman who is here from Carriacou. Well, from the United States. From Carriacou. I think he's going up either today or tomorrow. All right? So he has to get registered. And there was another 2 persons who spoke to me who has to get registered too. All right? Somewhere in St. Andrew. One of those constituencies in St. Andrew. So things are happening. People are coming and they're getting registered because they want to participate in the upcoming election. The next election will be a movie, because we would have more and more people participating. People are fired up and excited. They want to support this agenda. They want to make sure that the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team succeed. And we must work towards that to guarantee victory in a big way. All right? Folks, last night, Peter David, he had a town hall style meeting in the River Road area. And notably, Clarice Charles was there. This Bain guy who campaigned for Keith on umpteen occasions. I think he was campaign manager sometimes, once or twice. He too was there. There was another person who I saw at that gathering, right? But Braffett was there too. So quite a bit of those folks within who were, bottle washers within the NNP, and cleaners within the NNP, so to speak, quote unquote, politically. You have the chief cook, bottle washer, and cleaner. A lot of those folks, they are aligning themselves with NNP, with Peter, sorry, not NNP, but Peter David. But let me tell you this. Peter David can never, on his own independent candidate thing, run in the town of St. George and win. And take it from me, because Peter will never be able to get a lot of NNP to support him. All right? And Clarice Charles, I don't think she votes in the town of St. George. She lives in, I think it's the Glen, where I used to live, up in that area there. So she's more on the northeast side than in the town. But Braffett, I don't think he votes in town. I think it's in the south. I think so. Stand to be corrected, but I think so. All right? And so there are people who are popping up around him, Peter, but they can't really vote in town. But hear this. He cannot muster the amount of votes needed to win town on his own, because NDC supporters will not vote for Peter David. Hardcore NDC support. So the votes that he got from NDC way back when. That's his personal friends and colleagues and so on. That's personal votes. And they were not really NDC. They were Peterites. All right? So they already gone with him. He doesn't have any NDC people who he can get to come with him and support him in the town of St. George. Remember, he was there under NNP. They didn't go with him when he was at NNP. I don't believe they want to go with him even if he say that he's independent. All right? Because when you listen to him speak, he's still NNP indirectly. He doesn't like NDC. No, he doesn't like NDC. When you hear him speak, he doesn't like NDC. So there is no way you're going to get NDC people supporting him. An NDC block of votes will be maintained and will grow. And NNP supporters, those hardcore NNP supporters who are the majority in the town in terms of the votes that he got in the last election, they're not going to vote for him. They're not going to support him. After a while, all this hype around Peter will die down. Because the NNP people going to pull together in the town and the NDC people will continue to pull together. That's common sense. And he doesn't have enough personal support and votes to win anything. He doesn't have it. He having 500 people supporting him. Personal votes, that's not enough to win the town of St. George. Because if you check carefully, the town of St. George is a very small constituency. All right? Let me see. Election. Right? Let me get election. Just election for Grenada. Right? Just quick. Just to look at some statistics here. So, for example, Peter David, let's look at the tongue. All right? Because the tongue is always a very small constituency. Very, very small. So the tongue of St. George, in terms of registered voters, all right, the people who registered to vote in the last election, was just 3,781 people who were registered to vote in the tongue of St. George. And the people who voted in the tongue of St. George were just 2,462 people. 2,462 people. So it's not a big constituency. Claudette Joseph, she got 1,118 votes. Peter David get 1,329 votes. Not much a difference, right? So, and remember, Peter David ran on that NNP ticket. So the people who voted for Peter David were NNP supporters. And then he had some personal votes, but nothing significant, nothing grand, nothing big. You see the point? So his personal votes that he will take away from NNP now is not enough to cause him to win any seat. He's not going to get the NDC support. He's not going to get the NNP support. He's in the middle. It's not enough for him to win any seat. So if he runs in the town of St. George, he's going to lose. He's going to lose and lose big. In fact, Claudette Joseph, if she runs, the next election stands a good chance of winning that seat. And if NDC has another person, or if NNP has another person, because remember the NNP would have another person, right? So we don't know who NNP will be running yet. We don't know who NDC will be running yet, right? Right now we have, as a caretaker, the Honorable Claudette Joseph, and she's doing a fantastic job there. But I'm simply saying, all this talk about third party, and he could waste the time. He would be like the PLM. What do you call it? The PLM. Right? Francis Alexis had it. The key, I think the symbol was the key. Waste of time. They're not going to win any seats, and they're not going to change anything. They're not going to change anything. All right? But NNP stands of losing in tongue some support, because there might be people who became loyal to Peter over that period of time. So, let's just watch and see what would take place. But it's not going to help NNP. It's not going to help NAP. And it's not going to help Peter. Because Peter doesn't have enough personal votes to run and win. All right? It's just not possible. And then you have the, I see the Jason guy, I think Jason Skeet. He's trying to push up, you know. He has always shown a desire to run something. I don't know if he's to run his mouth or run, you know, the guys are nobody in politics. But it's what it is, all right? So I'm saying, folks, Peter doesn't have what it takes. And he doesn't have a national following. One or two people in little circles might like him, but that's about it. But they already know that voting for him is like wasting your vote. You see? So that hype, all the hype will just die down soon. You will not even see anything happening anytime soon. Right? So, anyways, folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back with you on Sunday from 1 to 2 to continue that journey. We'll be in February. And remember, we're marching towards independence. Next Friday is independence. Yeah, 51 years of independence. Next Friday. All right. So I wish you all the best.